certainly scared me. I know Coach Monken's an excellent football coach, and they came in here and they played hard. We knew with it being a rivalry game and a border game that it would create a lot of excitement amongst the players, and it certainly didn't disappoint. I thought both teams played extremely hard, and it was a very physical game. I thought defensively, I thought our defense played outstanding tonight. I thought they really did a great job. They played really well. Darius Barnes came up with a couple interceptions, and having the 4 turnovers was really big. But I thought the defense came up with some really big stops. Did some really good things tonight, so I feel like we're maybe progressing a little bit and making some progress with it, especially with the number of guys that were out. Bryson Abraham stood up and did a great job. Kendrick James, Kevin Kissenberth, even Andre Wiggins, Trent Taylor, a lot of guys got some work with Dora being out of this football game and Liggins being out of this football game. I thought some guys really stepped up and did some good things for us, stepping in to a tough situation. On the offensive side of the ball, I think Kenneth Dixon is a horse. I've said it before. He runs extremely hard. He runs extremely physical. He does a really nice job. He's a fun young man to coach. He's a fun young man to watch play football. But really proud of what he did tonight. But I thought the story with some of the injuries on the offensive side of the ball and with Ryan Higgins being out, I made the comment during the open date that I thought Scotty Young had really done a great job last week and had probably had the best week of practice I've seen him have since he's been here, since I've been here. He's been here longer than I have, so since I've been here. But, it would have been really easy for him to hang his head a couple weeks ago when the change was made to go to Ryan, and yet he has hung in there, he has competed, he has sat in meetings, he's watched film. His perseverance and just his strong will has really been something to commend. I thought he went out there, he did a great job managing the football game tonight, to not turn it over, just seeing the field really well, making some nice throws. I think if he had any help at all, without maybe 5 drops, he's sitting there in a 27-37 game for probably about twice the number of yards that he had. But I really thought that not only is Kenneth one of the big stories on offense and the offensive line, but I thought Scotty Young played an excellent football game tonight. The special teams, Kyle Fisher continues to make field goals, which is a positive, but we've got to get better with our kickoffs here punting, because we are not where we need to be to play at the level we want to play here at Louisiana Tech at this point. But a lot of good things tonight, and it's always great to win. We will look at the film, evaluate it, and get ready for a really good Rice team down in Houston next week.
When did you make the decision to go with Scotty? And what's Ryan's status? I mean, was obviously couldn't play, wasn't even the backup.
No, Ryan wasn't available for this game, and it's a thing where Ryan's been evaluated every day. We knew last week he didn't practice last week during the open date, and we let Scotty and Paul both roll a little bit, and we talked to him about we wanted to see who was going to step up and take the biggest leadership role. And I heard Scotty be more vocal tonight than I think I've ever heard him be. He was on the sidelines, he was in the huddle, he was talking to the O-line. I mean, I thought he was really passionate about it. But when we let those guys compete this week, Scotty just really had, like I said, one of the best weeks. And we made the decision to go with Scotty last week if Ryan can't go. And Ryan was evaluated every day, and he still to this point wasn't cleared this morning. So Scotty was a quarterback, but we kind of knew that when we came out of Tuesday with the day that he had and Ryan still not being cleared, that Scotty would start. Just didn't know if Ryan would be able to play.
What's the biggest thing bothering Ryan?
His shoulder. I mean, his body. His shoulder, his knee, his ankle. He's got a lot of it, but probably his shoulder.
When Monday I said there's no quarterback controversy. Today, Scotty plays his best game of the year.
Yeah.
Would you say there is?
No, I wouldn't say it's a controversy at all. When you've got 2 quarterbacks that have led your offense, that have game experience, we came into this season, we don't have a quarterback that's taken a snap. Now we've got 2 that have not only started games, but won games and been successful in games and done a really good job. And I think both of them are getting better and better. They're both incredibly unselfish players, like I said, with Scotty for the determination and resolve that he showed through this adversity that he's had. I'm just proud of the way that he's handled a very difficult situation, and now when it came full circle and he got his opportunity, he made the most of it. So, no, I wouldn't say it's a controversy at this point. I don't even know if Ryan's clear to play. So, right now coming out of this game, Scotty was our starter, and that's where I am right now. So we'll just have to look at it and see where we go from here.
Drop balls have to be a huge concern for you
Yes.
going forward.
Yes.
Y'all had multiple opportunities to move the chains, but a drop ball puts the offense on the sideline. How do you address that?
Well, you got one of two choices, really. I mean, you've got to get better through coaching, and continuing to make concentrated efforts with it, or you got to throw it to somebody else. Those are the only two choices. I think every receiver's got an obligation to catch the ball. That's why they call you receiver and not a dropper. You receive the ball, you catch it. But we did not do a very good job of it. No, Sterling made one great catch down in the end zone for the jump ball. I thought Scotty did a nice job of putting it up and giving him a chance. But the drop balls are definitely a concern. And when you start looking at saying we're throwing it 37 times, you got to start to wonder, are we throwing it too much with the production we have catching the ball at this point?
How do you handle as many challenges? There's no flags really in this game until the second half.
Right.
There was a good bit of flow in the first half. Second half, there's multiple stoppages of play because of challenges. How do you keep your team focused through all that?
Well, I mean, I think it's on them, and I mean, it's a credit to them. Because as a coach, there's not a lot you can do. You can't sit over there and sing and dance for them to keep them occupied during a 4-minute break while you're sitting there waiting. And I think just listening to Scotty walk through the offensive huddle here, and Kano's talking about, hey, don't let down. Don't lose our focus. We got to get this done. You just hear the encouragement and the energy coming from this football team on both sides of the ball during those breaks. It was really encouraging because I thought this team did a great job of playing with a lot of energy.
How impressive is the accomplishment for Kenneth Dixon to have 2,000 rushing yards as a true sophomore?
Yeah, really impressive. I mean, he's a talent, and I think if we can get more productive in our passing game, I think it's a great combination because, poor Kenneth at this point, I mean, he's getting boxes loaded and everybody coming up on him and playing man and bringing the extra hat down and the free safeties rolling downhill. He's having to earn every one of those yards that he's earning this year. And I thought he did an excellent job. And I think, the way that Scotty and Ryan had started playing, and the way those two are playing, we got to get to the point where we're being more productive at receiver. And I think it's only going to help. I don't think it's only going to help Kenneth that much more because then it won't be a one-man show. And he's a great young man. He's tough. He's physical. He can run. He's got great vision. He's got great balance. I'm still not convinced he was down on that screen pass on our side that they called him down. Still not convinced they got him on the ground on that one, but he's a tremendous talent. He's a great player, but like I said, he's a great young man with a phenomenal attitude. He's fun to coach because he's upbeat and positive, and he's always got something to say.
Coach, Trent Taylor's a kid that you guys inherited in the recruiting class last season.
Yeah.
Once you watched him on tape, did you ever dream that he would be your leading receiver yards-wise in a game this season?
No, you didn't think it coming in, but I knew we wanted him. When we watched him play and watched him as a punt returner, he's a football player. He's an inside receiver. He does a great job. He had that one drop tonight, and then he bobbled the punt. But, I mean, as a true freshman, for him to go out and do some of the things that he's doing on the field right now, I think every game that he plays, he's going to get better and better. But I think our quarterbacks have great confidence in him winning, getting open, and catching the ball, and that's why they're going to find a way to find a guy like that.
And then Jaderukh had a pass catch down the sideline.
Great catch.
Really, one of the few times y'all are able to stretch the field this season.
Right.
How important is he moving forward, especially after his injury?
Well, and we've talked about some of we don't have a lot of speed that's knocking the top off of it or making plays because to be a receiver that doesn't have great speed, then you got to be able to go up and win a jump ball, and we haven't been able to do that. And I thought Jaderukh won with talent. He won with technique tonight. Stacked the receiver, got vertical, gave the quarterback room on the sideline, and then I thought Scotty just laid a great pass and was a great catch because he threw a lot of great passes tonight that weren't caught. But I thought that was well executed, and I think Coach Peterson, those offensive coaches, have been working extremely hard, and it was nice to see it. It was nice to see it work the way it's supposed to work when you throw a deep ball.
Scored 3 times in the red zone.
Yes.
And you were coming in, had 14 touchdowns in 32 opportunities, how big was that to kind of get off the schneid a little bit?
Yeah, and it was part of what we had talked about in putting Kenneth Dixon back there and saying that we got to be able to run the ball down there, and we can't let people take that away. And then I thought, again, Scotty threw a great ball to Sterling. Sterling went up and made a great catch. That was one of we hadn't been making some of those plays. And to see us make a couple of them in the passing game and then to be able to create that in the running game down in the red zone, I think that's huge for us moving forward because we've lost some close football games and have not been as productive in the red zone as we need to be.
How quickly did Kenneth take on the Wildcat role with his background of playing quarterback at the high school level?
I don't know. I mean, the day we put it in, I mean, we didn't have to talk him into it. I'm going to put it that way. We didn't have to talk him into it. I mean, he wants to do it. He's played quarterback. Now he's talking about wanting to pass. So I don't know. We'll have to go to the drawing board and see what we can put together this week.
When did you install that?
Was it this week or the week before? The open date? I think it was the open date a week ago.
With USM, they had, coming into the game, they kind of had your number a little bit. I think you were 1-3 coaching against them coming in, and they had beaten Tech 8 of the last 10 times and 3 in a row. What was the thing that you saw the biggest difference between this USM team and the teams that you've coached against or seen in the past?
I think this team's really young. You know, you look at there's a freshman quarterback who I thought he really did a great job today, and we tried to put a lot of pressure on him. But I think they're playing a lot of young players. I know Coach Munkin coming in, he's in the same situation that I'm in, where you're trying to learn a little bit about your team and how they're going to respond in pressure situations. And I think he'll continue to build with that team, but I don't think that team has the experience some of the other Southern Miss teams that I've seen have had.
Can you comment on a little bit more specifically on the athleticism and performance of Jaderukh Barnes tonight?
Darius, we've talked about it from the beginning with what is there potentially, and he got tested a couple times deep downfield and had 2 interceptions, had one hit him in the hands that came through. I thought he could have had a third, but I think Jaderukh Barnes is really playing well. Played over the top as a corner, eating up some of the safety zone there in the middle of the field. Doing not only his job but somebody else's as well, and being an eraser. And I think he's got what I saw tonight is what I felt like I saw what he has the ability to be. It's just taken a couple games to get there, and I think as a team we're evolving and we're getting better. If we can get Kenneth Dixon to talk a little bit more, then I think we're going to be fine. Kenneth and Scotty both.
Anything else?